In this video, we're going to talk about the 6 different types of cries and what your baby is trying to tell you. Hey, it's Morgan here with Passable Parent, where we help you improve developmental outcomes for your child and find the joy in parenting. I've been a pediatric nurse for the past 10 years, specializing in early childhood development. I'm also a new mom. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. I have lots of videos about pregnancy, postpartum, and early childhood development, so make sure you don't miss out on any. Babies don't come with instruction manuals, and trying to figure out the needs of someone who can't articulate themselves is extremely challenging. So during the first few months of life, crying is really the only way that your baby can communicate their needs to you. And there are 6 main different types of cries. The first is the I'm hungry cry. Now, this type of cry is a low-pitched, rhythmic, repetitive cry. You may also see your baby moving around or rooting for the breast. They might also be making suckling motions with their mouth and tongue. Also may be lip smacking or trying to put their hands or fingers in their mouth. So what's the solution to this type of cry? It's to quickly feed your baby. So you want to quickly feed them and address this cry, because otherwise your baby is gulping in air as they cry, which will further lead to an upset stomach and might actually make it difficult when they eventually get to nurse or get to the bottle, because they will have a lot of potential for reflux or spit up. So this hunger cry is one that you want to respond to quickly and make sure baby gets fed. The second type of cry is actually the I'm tired, I'm uncomfortable, or I'm in pain cry. This cry sounds almost identical, so you know with this cry, it's one of those 3 things. Now, what you want to listen for with this cry is a whiny, nasally, high-pitched cry that increases in intensity. If they're trying to communicate with you that they're tired through this high-pitched, intense cry, you can also look for signs such as eye rubbing or yawning. If your baby is trying to tell you that they're uncomfortable or in pain with this cry, they may be squirming, or they might even be ear tugging. Pulling at their ears is usually a sign that they're in some sort of discomfort. Now, since this is a tired or an uncomfortable pain cry, the solution to this is to help your baby get to sleep if they're using this cry because they're tired. So however that looks, helping them, gently rocking them to sleep, holding them, soothing them, that's one way to address this cry. Now, if this is an uncomfortable cry, you want to look for gas, or maybe they're uncomfortable because they have a wet diaper, so you're going to want to quickly change their diaper, maybe burp them a little bit gently, and see if you can resolve their discomfort in this way. Now, remember, this I'm tired or I'm uncomfortable cry happens fairly commonly during the first few weeks of life, because many newborn babies can sleep more than 16 hours a day. That brings us to our third type of cry, which is the overstimulation cry. With this cry, you want to listen for a whiny, fussy cry. You're going to want to look for your baby turning their head away from overstimulating sights or sounds. The solution to this cry is to take your baby away from that overstimulating environment, from that overstimulating sound or visual. So you're going to want to take them to a much calmer environment and just soothe them. So that brings us to the 4th type of cry, the I want attention, or better known as the calling cry. So this type of cry starts out as coos and then turns into fussing, which then intensifies and turns into crying in little bouts, and then sometimes you'll hear whimpering. And it's almost as if your baby is crying and then stopping and looking to see if they're getting any sort of response from you. So you'll hear a burst of crying and then a stopping and maybe a little whimpering and then another burst of crying. And this is because baby's kind of looking and seeing, am I getting their attention? Am I getting some sort of reaction here? So the solution here is just to simply acknowledge your baby. Pick your baby up, play with your baby, comfort your baby, and this cry should stop almost immediately. The 5th type of cry, which many parents say is one of the worst of all, is the colic cry. With this cry, you're going to listen for intense screams and wailing, and usually it tends to happen later in the day or afternoon. With this cry, you're going to look for fidgeting movements, and usually this cry peaks around 6 weeks of age. This type of cry can last hours. But the good news is that usually in most babies, this type of colicky cry goes away by 3 to 4 months of age. So with this cry, there's many different causes of a colic cry. Experts believe that it's linked to gas or discomfort from reflux. So one solution to this type of colic cry is to try different positions with your baby. Try sitting them upright. Try even taking their legs and gently pushing their knees up against their belly and just kind of rotating their legs slowly and gently and kind of doing them in circular motions. And this can sometimes help relieve any gas that baby is having and experiencing, which can be really, really uncomfortable for baby. You can gently push their legs up to their belly for about 10 seconds at a time and then repeat. And do this very gently, and this should help alleviate some gas if that could be the cause of their colic cry. And that brings us to our final and sixth cry, which is the sick cry. And with this cry, you're gonna wanna listen for soft whimpers. And this is gonna be a lower pitched cry than the standard I'm uncomfortable cry that we talked about earlier. They also are gonna be very weak and nasal sounding cries. With this cry, you're gonna wanna look for fever, diarrhea, constipation, vomiting, anything just really out of the ordinary for your baby, maybe even a rash. And you're gonna wanna call your pediatrician or trusted healthcare provider immediately. So as a new parent myself, I know how challenging this period of time can be, especially when you just bring baby home and you're not really sure how to anticipate their needs yet or what it is that they're trying to communicate to you. I am here to tell you that it does get better. You're going to learn more and more each day, and each day you're going to be able to better anticipate your baby's needs. As time goes on, your baby will cry less often and for shorter periods of time, and they will be much more easily comforted by you. Hang in there, you can do this. Here are some things that also help and that helped me in my own personal experience with my baby that hopefully can be helpful for you as well. The first one is having a repetitive routine. Babies love routine. Imagine if you just had no idea what was going on, you were new to this world, don't know what to anticipate. That could be a very scary experience. So having a routine helps baby sort of figure out their place in this world. So when I say repetitive routine, I mean having a routine where they know when to anticipate sleeping and feeding and playing. So especially in the beginning, that's really all they're going to be doing. They're going to be sleeping a lot. There's going to be some periods that are short in the beginning of awake alertness. During that time, you're going to play. And then there's going to be a lot of feedings. Like newborn babies need to feed every 2 to 3 hours. So just having sort of a routine and a schedule for sleeping, playing, and feedings. When your baby has a routine and knows what to expect, it's much easier for you as well as a parent to kind of do process of elimination of what your baby could be needing. So, they just woke up, so they slept really good. I just fed them, they just had a bottle, or they just nursed. So, let me check their diaper. This must be an uncomfortable cry. Maybe their diaper's wet and they need to be changed. So having that routine really helps with that process of elimination to determine why your baby is crying. So singing to your baby and talking to your baby, that can be really comforting and that can really help with the crying. Using distraction or making funny faces. Baby's favorite thing to look at is you, and their favorite toy is you. So you can really make baby happy, and as time goes on, you might start to catch those first little smiles. So making really silly, outrageous faces, that is so much fun for baby. And that could be something you could do to keep baby happy and maybe really help with the crying in the beginning. Using toys, again, with that distraction. So using baby's favorite toy, or, if you notice baby's really into a certain object, of course with supervision, use that toy, use that object for distraction to kind of keep baby's mind off of other things, keep them happy, keep them not crying. Another great way to stop baby from crying is simply just to hold your baby. Just hold your baby and comfort them. You are their favorite person as their caregiver. They get so much comfort in just being close to you. So just having your baby close to you, holding your baby, can really help with the crying. A great way to get through this difficult time when you have a baby that's crying a lot is to just take some deep breaths and just tell yourself, this doesn't last forever. And that is the truth. It really doesn't last forever. It might feel like an eternity in the moment. I know I've been there, but just take some deep breaths and just tell yourself, this is not going to be forever. So white noise machines, those also are something that can really help. I know there's all different types of sound machines out there on the market. Of course, you don't want to have them too loud because your baby's hearing is very sensitive. But those white noise machines, they can really help. They can help with baby's sleep, and they can help calm baby if baby is crying. What also can help in this situation is keeping yourself healthy as your baby's caregiver. So making time to make sure that you're eating, that you're sleeping as best as you can. So if you can sleep when baby sleeps, and just make sure nobody thinks well when they're not well rested, and that's much easier said than done, especially in the beginning, especially with a newborn. But just trying to get that sleep when you can. If you have people in your life that you trust and that you're comfortable with, saying, you need a break, even if it's just for basic needs, you have to take care of you too. Anything you could do to just really make sure you're also taking care of yourself during this time. A ride in the stroller or in the car can help with a baby who's crying a lot. A lot of parents swear by that, and getting that baby outside, getting that fresh air, even as a newborn, just taking them outside 20-30 minutes a day, as long as weather permitting, they're dressed comfortably, they're not in direct sunlight. That is great for baby. That can help them sleep better, it can improve their mood, and it's good for you as the caregiver. So think about getting outside every day, and think about using the stroller if baby's crying a lot, or going for a car ride. Again, give yourself a break. If you need to give yourself a break, reach out to someone you can trust. And the last thing that I'm gonna say is to know your limits. So if you know you're at your breaking point and your baby's crying is really getting to you, the number one thing that I can say that I can't stress enough is place your baby down in a safe place, such as a crib, and just walk out of the room and just take some deep breaths and recompose yourself and get yourself into a better place before you go back in with baby. And finally, if you need extra support, please reach out to a therapist, to your doctor, to a trusted medical provider, and let them know that you're really struggling. I really hope this video is informative and helps. I know in the beginning it's like decoding a secret language, trying to figure out and anticipate what your baby needs. But I promise you will get better with time, figuring out what your baby needs and the cues and the different things they're trying to tell you. And please, parents and caregivers, know that you're not alone in this. Know that every new parent struggles to figure this out, and eventually you're gonna get into a better rhythm with baby. You're gonna be able to figure each other out, get into some sort of routine, whatever works for you. Please remember that you are showing up every day, and that your presence is the best gift that you can give your baby. And with time, you will better understand each other, and you will develop a routine that works for both of you. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Before you leave, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my other videos. I have a ton of great stuff about pregnancy, postpartum, and early childhood development. Thanks so much. Hope to see you next time.